Over 60. 4 bedroom mistakes that are quietly destroying your intimacy and how to fix them tonight. What if I told you that 4 habits you've carried for decades might be the reason you feel disconnected, less confident, or like intimacy has become more of a struggle than a joy? These aren't obvious mistakes. They're subtle patterns that seemed perfectly normal at 30, 40, even 50. But after 60, they can quietly drain your energy, weaken your connection with your partner, and leave you feeling like you're losing a part of yourself. I'm Dr. Mohit Kara, a men's health specialist with over 30 years of experience helping older men reclaim their vitality and intimacy, and I've seen how these 4 common bedroom mistakes can slowly change everything about how you feel as a man. In this video, I'm going to walk you through these 4 mistakes that older men make and regret when it comes to intimacy. These mistakes are subtle. Most men never see them coming, but they're completely reversible. Let's begin. 2. Establish expertise. I've spent the last 3 decades helping older men across America restore their strength, confidence, and connection with their partners. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's that aging isn't the problem. The problem is what we've never been taught about how our habits affect our body, our mind, and our relationships after 60. What worked at 25 might be breaking your body down at 65, so let's walk through the truth one step at a time. Because understanding these mistakes isn't just about better intimacy, it's about feeling like yourself again. 3. Mistake 1. The pressure performance, the dopamine drain. This first mistake is something I see almost every week in my clinic. It seems like determination, even admirable effort, but it slowly rewires your body and brain in ways that make intimacy harder, not easier. Let me tell you about Robert, 63. He sat across from me and said, "Doc, I just don't feel like myself anymore. I used to be confident, passionate. Now I feel like I'm fighting my own body every time my wife and I are intimate." Robert had fallen into what I call performance pressure. The belief that intimacy at 63 should work exactly like it did at 33. He was pushing, straining, getting frustrated when his body didn't respond the way it used to. And that frustration was creating a cycle that made everything worse. Here's what was happening in his body. When we put pressure on ourselves to perform, our nervous system shifts into fight or flight mode. Stress hormones like cortisol flood our system. Blood vessels constrict. The very thing we're trying to achieve relaxed, natural intimacy becomes impossible. Think of it like trying to fall asleep by forcing yourself to sleep. The harder you try, the more awake you become. Your body needs the opposite of pressure. It needs permission to respond naturally. Robert's breakthrough came when he stopped trying to perform and started focusing on connection. Instead of rushing toward a goal, he learned to slow down, to breathe, to be present with sensations rather than demanding results. He made 3 simple changes. First, he started each intimate moment with 5 minutes of just breathing together with his wife. Second, he removed the pressure of having to finish and focused on enjoying the journey. Third, he learned to communicate what felt good instead of silently struggling. Within weeks, he noticed something remarkable. "Doc," he told me, "I feel like I'm waking up again. The pressure is gone, and somehow everything works better when I stop trying so hard." You're not broken. Your body is just asking to be treated differently. And once you do, things begin to shift, sometimes faster than you think. If this message resonates so far, leave a 1 in the comments so I know this matters to you. And don't forget to subscribe for more insights designed specifically for men over 60. Let's keep going because the next mistake, it's the one that has quietly affected your sleep, your energy, and your hormones for years. 5. Mistake 2. The nighttime habit. This mistake happens in the privacy of your bedroom, usually late at night when you can't sleep. It feels like a harmless way to relax, maybe even healthy, but it's actually disrupting your hormones in ways that make intimacy with your partner more difficult. Let me tell you about Frank, 68. He came to me exhausted, frustrated, and confused. "Doc, I have no energy during the day. I can't sleep through the night. And when my wife wants to be close, I don't have anything left to give. Frank had developed a habit of solo release late at night, thinking it would help him sleep. What he didn't realize was that this timing was completely disrupting his natural hormone cycle. Here's what was happening in his body. After 60, our testosterone production follows a very specific rhythm. It's highest in the morning and gradually decreases throughout the day. When we release sexually late at night, we're sending mixed signals to our endocrine system. We're essentially telling our body that we're most sexually active when our hormones are at their lowest. This creates a domino effect. Poor sleep quality leads to lower testosterone production. Lower testosterone leads to less energy and desire. Less energy leads to avoiding intimacy with your partner, and the cycle continues. Frank's turning point came when he shifted his timing. Instead of late night solo activity, he started channeling that energy toward morning intimacy with his wife. He also established a proper sleep routine, no screens after 9 p.m., chamomile tea, and a consistent bedtime. The changes were profound. Within a month, Frank was sleeping through the night, his energy returned, and most importantly, he felt present and engaged when his wife wanted to connect. "Doc," he told me, "I forgot what it felt like to sleep through the night. And I forgot what it felt like to actually want to be close to my wife instead of just going through the motions." Your body has its own rhythm. When you work with it instead of against it, everything becomes easier. 6. Mistake 3. The physical technique. This mistake is about technique, but not in the way you might think. It's about how we physically approach intimacy, and over time, it can actually damage the very nerves that make pleasure possible. Let me tell you about David, 61. He came to me with a problem he was embarrassed to discuss. "Doc, I can't feel much anymore. It's like my body is numb. I have to work harder and harder to feel anything at all." David had unknowingly developed a technique that was too rough, too fast, and too focused on force rather than sensitivity. Over decades, this had actually desensitized the nerve endings. Like calluses on your hands from rough work, his body had adapted to intense stimulation by becoming less responsive. Here's what was happening in his body. The nerve endings in our intimate areas are designed for gentle, varied stimulation. When we consistently use too much pressure or speed, these nerves become less sensitive as a protective mechanism. We then need more intensity to feel the same sensation, creating a cycle that eventually leads to numbness. This is especially common in men who learned their technique in their teens or 20s and never adjusted it for their changing body. What our body could handle at 25 might be damaging it at 65. David's recovery required patience and retraining. He had to learn a completely different approach: gentler touch, slower rhythm, and the use of high-quality lubrication. Most importantly, he had to give his nerves time to heal and regain sensitivity. He made 3 key changes. First, he reduced pressure by 80% and focused on light, varied touch. Second, he incorporated natural lubricants to reduce friction. Third, he learned to extend the experience rather than rushing to completion. The healing took several months, but the results were worth it. "Doc," David told me, "I can actually feel again. It's like rediscovering something I thought I'd lost forever." Your body is incredibly resilient. Even nerve sensitivity can be restored with the right approach and patience. 7. Mistake 4. The loneliness behind the habit. This final mistake is the most subtle, but perhaps the most damaging. It's using intimacy as an escape from loneliness rather than as a bridge to connection. And it's quietly destroying marriages. Let me tell you about Thomas, 66. He'd been married for 40 years, but he felt more alone than ever. "Doc, my wife is right there, but I feel like we're living in different worlds. I find myself handling things on my own more often than connecting with her." Thomas had fallen into a pattern of using solo intimacy as a way to avoid the vulnerability of real connection. It felt safer, easier, and free from the potential rejection or awkwardness that can come with long, long-term marriage. But it was creating an emotional wall between him and his wife. Here's what was happening emotionally. When we consistently choose solo release over partnered intimacy, we're training our brain and body to prefer isolation over connection. We're literally rewiring our reward system to find solitude more satisfying than partnership. Over time, this makes real intimacy feel foreign, awkward, or even burdensome. We lose the skills of communication, vulnerability, and shared pleasure. Our partner begins to feel rejected, unwanted, or replaced by a habit they can't compete with. Thomas's breakthrough came when he realized that his loneliness wasn't solved by his habit, it was caused by it. He was using intimacy to avoid intimacy, connection to avoid connection. He made a courageous decision. For 30 days, he would redirect all of his sexual energy toward his wife, not with pressure or demands, but with presence, communication, and patience. He started small, holding hands while watching TV, kissing her goodbye in the morning, asking about her day, and really listening. The transformation was remarkable. "Doc," Thomas told me, "I didn't realize how much I was missing. My wife started opening up to me again. She told me she'd felt like she was losing me for years. Now we talk, we laugh, we connect in ways I forgot were possible." The most powerful part: their physical intimacy naturally improved because it was built on emotional connection rather than physical need. You're not just a body with urges. You're a man with a heart that craves real connection. And that connection is still possible, no matter how long it's been dormant. 8. The mistake beneath them all. After all these years of working with men, I've realized something. The biggest mistake isn't any single habit. It's ignoring what your body is trying to tell you. Fatigue, frustration, numbness, disconnection. We were taught to push through, to ignore symptoms, to man up, and keep going until one day we can't. We were taught that aging means accepting less, wanting less, being less. But that's not true. Your body after 60 isn't broken, it's different. It's asking for different things: more patience, more gentleness, more connection, more presence. It's asking you to work with it, not against it. When Robert stopped pressuring himself to perform, his body responded with natural confidence. When Frank aligned his habits with his hormone cycle, his energy returned. When David treated his body with gentleness, his sensitivity healed. When Thomas chose connection over isolation, his marriage came alive again. These aren't 4 separate solutions. They're 4 aspects of the same truth. Your body is wise. It knows what it needs, but first you have to listen. Aging isn't the end of your story as a man. It's the invitation to finally start listening to what your body, your heart, and your partner have been trying to tell you all along. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. 9. Conclusion: if this message spoke to you, you're not alone. You're not too old, too far gone, or too broken. You're waking up, and that's powerful. When you change how you care for yourself, you change everything: your health, your presence, your joy, your connection with the person you love. These 4 mistakes are reversible. Your body is resilient. Your capacity for intimacy, connection, and vitality doesn't have an expiration date. If this video helped you, like it, share it, and leave a comment below. Tell me which mistake resonated most with you. Your story might help another man realize he's not alone in this struggle. And if you want to help support content like this, honest, respectful, and real, consider hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell. This is how we rewrite the story of men's health together. Remember, you're not just surviving your golden years, you're designing them, and intimacy, connection, and vitality are still yours to claim. Until next time, take care of yourself. You're worth it. CO keywords to include: men over 60, male intimacy after 60, bedroom mistakes, older men, testosterone and aging, men's health over 60, intimacy problems, solutions, relationship advice, older couples, male confidence after 60.